Hey, girl. Hey.
Why did we go down that path? Jeez.
How are you, Miss Thing? How are you? How
I'm
are you?
okay. I'm okay. Dear listeners, I really appreciate your patience with me. I'm so sorry. I got back from my work trip to Phoenix last week and I was dead on arrival, so I appreciate you all being
And
patient
dear
with us.
listeners, I would also like to say that I thought that I took it upon myself to make a clip show based on this clip show. And dear listeners, I watched it for the second time, or tried to watch it for the second time. I just watched it for the second time a few minutes ago. And I didn't even watch it for anyway. I was like, this is too many clips. This is
A lot
too
of
much.
clips.
This is too much. I do not have the editing time, and I have not hired a producer. Dear listeners, if you want to go to Patreon and throw us $5,000, I will
For a
hire a
producer,
producer.
we'd be
Yes.
so happy. We would love you so much.
If
We would
we
love you.
if we have a single patron out there who just wants to like give us
Just like
five thousand
a
dollars,
patron daddy that just loves designing women and just wants to make sure that
that's
oh,
exactly right. That's exact. We will even put you in contact with the amateur porn star that may know.
we'll start calling them patty daddies.
Patty daddies, patty
Yeah.
daddies.
We
Yeah.
love we love our patty daddies. So patty daddies, if you have $5,000 in disposable income and you don't know what to do with it, and you also love designing women and may also love, you know, some
Murder
other
She
things that
Wrote,
we've been doing.
or if you
Ally
really look, Ally
McBeal,
McBeal,
all
or
of like, we're trying
drag
to.
queens,
Yep, that
old
too.
drag
Golden
queens.
girls. Oh, never mind. We
Well,
didn't do that one.
that was Golden Palace, girl. That was Golden Palace. Nobody like that.
That was a that was a copper palace at most.
At most.
At most.
At most. Oh God. So, girl, did you ever
Yes.
finish that calendar? Dear listeners,
No, I'm
I'm
doing that. I am doing that tonight. That is actually on my list to do tonight.
dear
So
listeners, I started a new website for her, and I want to teach her how to make the end of this more simple. So at the end of this podcast, when she's introducing herself, I'm just going to do it for her. So she just,
I think I've gotten pretty efficient at it. Haven't I? I'm more efficient.
is your name Brooke? Because you're babbling. It's okay. I'm a stutterer. It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay, girl. You can be a babbler. You can be whatever you want to
I
be.
mean, that's why the dear listeners listen to.
Thank you, Barbie, for telling everybody that we can be whatever we want to
Speaking of that, have
be.
you seen that movie yet?
No, I haven't had time. I had COVID and then I went to Phoenix.
Girl,
So
don't you
yeah,
love how whenever I hold my head like this, you can see all the wigs in my picture?
I can't. Earlier, I thought it was a hat.
No, wigs. Wigs.
I did earlier. I thought it was a hat, and I was like, "Is that? Oh, that's the wigs.
That's the wigs.
That's the
That's
wigs."
the, you can see my green one right. Oh no, this green one right there. Oh God.
Can you tell it's green?
I can, yes, yes, yes.
What are the colors? What are the colors you can't see again?
So, dear listeners, I am not color blind. I am color weak. It's a thing. It's a thing. It just means my rods or cones, whichever one does do color, don't
I
do it.
feel like I have been misled for 40
So,
years.
funny story. I'll tell you the story of this. So, I have trouble with blue and purple and red and green if they're the same hue. Okay.
Mhm.
Also, I was in a training at work the other day, and I told this story. Green lights look white to me.
Mm.
So,
Like when you're driving?
yeah, they look white, like just bright white.
Good Lord.
When I was talking about how I never knew that the little man for crossing the street was white. I just always
Okay.
assumed it was green because it was the same color as the traffic light. And it
Ah.
makes sense for it to be green. Why would it be different, right? Like, why would it be white instead of
You have to
racism?
ask the traffic engineers.
But I was talking to the training person. Training's like, and what age did you find that out? I was like, well, actually, to be honest with you, about 35. because it just never came up. And I was like, oh, yeah, the light's green bingo. They're like, wait. Do you actually see that as green? I'm like, well, I just assumed it was green. They're like, no, it's white. I got a white man telling me what to do and the red man's telling me to stop. This is definitely racism.
That's right there. It's all racism. Everything is rooted in racism. Everything.
But no, so I had a friend who always thought that I was sort of lying about being colorblind or color weak. Until I went
to be popular. I don't understand.
No, just like it's such a out there thing that it's I guess, it's hard to comprehend.
But it's not for boys. Like it's actually fairly common in men.
Well, we went to a genetics exhibit at the North Carolina State Science Museum.
Oh, fancy bitch!
And they had a whole thing on color blindness. Okay, and they had like the test up in front, and I was like, oh, that's a 7. And she's like, that's a 10. I was like, no, the 7's right here. She's like, no, it's a 10 right here. And then she looked, she's like, oh, you see the number for the colorblind person. I'm like, I told you so.
And this, dear listeners, is why you should always believe your friends. That was the moral, right?
I didn't sleep with him.
Oh, I assumed it was a girl because you went to a museum with them.
Oh, no. It was a girl. I go to museums with my husband all the time. I went to a museum with you.
That's different. We're different.
Speaking of being different, girl, did you know that we have a Patreon?
Shut up. What?
Dear listeners, if you go to patreon.com, Mims and Maim, you can throw us some money. Hey, Maim.
Yes?
Did you know that we have other podcasts?
I found that out recently, yes.
That's right, Maim. We have You Slayby, our Murder, She Wrote podcast, and We Object, our Ally McBeal podcast. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you know that we have merchandise? Dear listeners, you could go to the new redesigned MimsandMaim.com and find out. That's right. That's right, girl. That's right. That's right. Hey, Maim.
Yeah.
Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Do you know what I love?
A good rimming. 5-star reviews.
It's all true. No, actually, I hate rimming. It just makes me feel gross.
Well, at least we know where you stand or sit on that now.
Tried it once or twice. I was like, no, actually, I tried it twice. I was like, I feel sloppy. And I just know with my gird, I'm just never clean down there. So it's a joy and an adventure for everybody. But yes, dear listeners, if you've made it through that, I love 5-star reviews.
With my gird, I just know.
I can bidet all day.
Put that on a shirt.
Let me write that down.
I can bidet all day.
Where's my notepad? Where's my notepad, baby?
Oh my God. I can bidet all day.
Bidet all day.
Oh my God.
Dear listeners, the next couple of days, you can find that at MimsandMaim.com. Anyway, yes, dear listeners, if you made it through that shit, I love 5-star reviews. I do. I do. Whew. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
You ready to do this episode?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
This is season 4, episode 26. Their finest hour.
I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. I'm Julia Sugarbakers. And that, Marjorie, just so you will know, and your children will someday know, is the night the lights went out in Georgia. The lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out, the lights went out. And that is the night the lights went out in Georgia.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
So, Maim, this is a clip show.
Oh, remember the days of the 80s and 90s clip shows? That was a literal part of your season that happened every single time.
Yeah, so I tried to do a little bit of research to figure out why they did a clip show, like if they thought they were going to be canceled after season 4, if there was like, there was no, I couldn't find anything. Like,
because that's what everybody did clip shows. Every show, especially sitcoms, everyone had clip shows. When they started getting into season 3 and 4, all of them did that. And the only problem that I had with this particular clip show is that it's the laziest version of a clip show.
Well, we'll get to that at the end. Right? So we start off with Julia.
Ooh.
And that's the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Cut, print, put it on.
Yeah,
Emmy
exactly.
consideration. Oh, we didn't get an Emmy nomination. Oh, never mind.
And then we move forward a little bit. Like, we go through that Hurl speech, which is a good speech, right? Like, it is.
Oh, it's a wonderful speech.
It is.
Yeah.
We have seen drag queens. One day I'll get my words out. We have seen drag queens, not Bob, and who was the other one? I just killed Maim.
Oh,
was that Jinx? I think it was not Bob and Jinx.
It was Jinx. It just, you got me.
One day we're going to be famous and I'm going to beat Monet and she's going to be like, not Bob. It's like,
no, one day we go meet Monet. She's going to smack the shit out of you.
And Bob's going to pick me up and go, I know, baby. I know.
She gets that a lot, girl. She gets it a lot.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, so it is the most famous speech of the show.
Yep.
Right? Followed up by
the first episode, like the first season, which is
followed by probably the second most famous speech of the show. And I'd like to thank you, Ray Dawn.
Why isn't that done by more drag queens? I think that would actually be great for drag queens.
That would be, yes. I mean,
to me, that just feels like that would be really good for drag queens.
Girl, why don't you do it? Next time you do some lip syncing.
I'm doing lip syncing next week, actually.
Are you?
For a charity show.
Oh,
yeah.
I know. It's on your calendar.
I know. Is it?
Yes, girl.
Oh.
Because I posted it. Because I'm in charge of your calendar right now. Dear listeners, right now I'm Maim's manager. I get paid nothing.
Sid, you gotta give me better bookings, Sid.
You gotta be better to get better bookings, man.
I can't keep playing the palms, Sid.
Well, luckily for you, the palms is buttoned down.
They hate me at the palms, Sid.
God.
They pay me at buffet.
That explains why you get so fat.
I know. I can't even fit into my costumes anymore.
You couldn't before.
It's true. It's true.
So then we move forward. Dear listeners, we're trying our hardest here.
Dear listener, you're really going to be more of the two of us in this episode than us talking about this show. Just so you know.
The next one is the speech where Julia is talking about how we show off crazy people in the South, which is a truth.
It's actually very accurate.
It is a truth. Yeah.
We've both dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we are those people in our families.
We were the gays that they just put out on the front porch.
That's us, right? Rocking in a rocking chair,
Like
honey.
Cicely Tyson.
Girl, don't get me into that mood. You know it's going to happen. You know, once I descend, it's hard to get me out.
Girl, so you know the Montgomery thing that happened.
Yes.
I was like, you know, if that happened in front of me, and there were, I would probably be like Cicely Tyson sitting on the rocket chair, cheer people on, because my white ass is not getting involved.
In 50 years, I'm going to be sitting there like, y'all should have been there if y'all had seen what I saw on that dock that day. That hat flew up in the air, and like the grace of God, my people came. They came for the rescue. I want that Tony Award so bad.
You are a raisin in the sun.
I am, girl. I forgot my sunscreen today. I did.
Oh God!
Cicely would have not approved that. She would have been like, mm-mm.
So now we moved on to the construction worker speech. Sweet meat. Yeah.
Which
I don't know why that made it, but it's there.
People liked it. That was a thing. I mean, you know, people, anytime Julia got to do her thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, let's striking down one for sexism.
Then we move on to the son after he's dating that old woman. And she's talking about how much she loves him.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's dancing with Reese for a second. And then we got to see her sing Sweet Georgia Brown at the wedding.
That to me I think that has actually superseded The Nights Went Out in Georgia for me. Like her performance of that. Every time I think, I have arrived at that might be my favorite Julia moment, like, of the show.
Try and think what my favorite Julia moment is so far. That one was pretty good. No, it's the head caught in the banister is probably my favorite. Like when she's yelling at everybody with her head caught in the banister, it's pretty. I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is a good one. I don't know. She's had some good moments.
She has. Well, now we're on to you, Mary Jo Shively.
Well, Julia.
So we start off where she's talking about like when she was at the beach and she put the model's bra on her head to see how big the boobs were. And then we go on to Mary Jo on the cruise where she talks about how big Suzanne's boobs are.
Which they're big.
They are. But like, Mary Jo really likes to talk about boobs.
Well, you know, because she doesn't really have any, as we've arrived from that one episode.
Right. That's right. She's a stick figure.
You know, she's like but she got a cute little butt.
She does have a cute little butt.
That's what Designing Women taught us about Mary Jo.
She's got a cute little butt.
She got a cute little butt.
So she talks about Southern gas stations and how they have like everything. You can get biscuits and gravy and buttermilk and, you know, your gas and some bait and whatever you need. Girl, I passed by one the other day and it said live bait and biscuits. And I was like, you know what? If I did not have the dog in the back of my car and it was 105 degrees outside, I would probably go in and get a biscuit.
I mean, I remember going to Lake Norman, right, and passing those places, and we always would stop so my daddy could get one of those Bartles and James grape coolers.
Girl, the first and only time I've ever drunk and drive was when I was in high school.
Okay.
It's somebody had, one of my friends had a Bartles and James fruit punch.
I mean, that don't count as drinking.
They poured into a red cup.
That don't count as drinking. That's barely.
I know. It's the only time I've ever done it, though.
I think back on those days and how well, I mean, dear listeners, we grew up in a very conservative part of the state. So even for us, Bartles and James was like the devil's juice. It was like,
Girl, I have a story. Back in the day, back in like the 70s,
yeah.
my great grandmother came from Germany to visit my family.
Okay.
And the only beer you could legally buy in North Carolina at the time was Coors Light, because it had it had ultra low alcohol level. Yes.
Oh.
And she was like, "What is this water? Why are you drinking water?"
I mean, she wasn't wrong.
She was not wrong. And like it was a special, I believe it was a special kind of Coors Light that was even lower than the Coors Light they have now.
It was like the Coors Light that was allowable in conservative parts of the South.
Exactly. And I don't know if Iredell County was still dry at the time. They may have still been dry too.
Yeah, I mean, based on that time of it would have probably still been a dry county.
And now they're talking about, our Republicans are talking about putting casinos in places. We may be getting a casino in Rocky Mount.
What?
Yeah. And in Rockingham.
You don't need to have any more casinos nearby.
I know, that will.
You just don't.
I'm not ever going to get, Rocky Mount is there. They're also talking about giving the Lumbee a casino.
But they're not even a federally recognized tribe.
Okay, technicality, they are federally recognized, but not on the register or something, so they can't get any of the benefits. It's super duper shady. You can thank the Cherokee for that. Well, now it goes to what they've blocked them. They've been lobbying against
being a North Carolinian is very complicated.
It really
sometimes.
is. It really is, because the moment that happens, the Cherokee become the second largest tribe in the state.
No, I know. It's just really funny. Like, as you're saying it, I'm remembering the old internal politics of the state. It's just, jeez.
Well,
Louise.
now Mary Jo's in the bookstore talking about trying to find the dating book.
Oh yeah.
And then we go to the grocery store where Suzanne reads her for trying to find a man with a big old box of Tampax in her cart.
Well, it doesn't mean she's fertile.
Sure. We go to another scene where she's talking about women in movies and how she really wants to see a strong woman like whooping some ass and saving the men.
I like strong women whipping ass also, Mary Jo.
Did you see the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Yes.
Okay, good. That was dear listeners, that's a fantastic movie.
Loved that movie.
It surprised me how good it was going to be, because past ones were not that good.
Okay.
Have you seen any of the other ones?
Oh, that one that had Jeremy Irons in it?
Yes. Yes, girl. Yes, girl. Yes, girl.
Awful.
We canceled him, didn't we?
Jeremy Irons?
I thought he went ultra conservative.
No, he's British.
I thought hold on here. Was it Jeremy Irons we canceled, or the dude?
Spoken like conservative brethren. It feels like we're canceling everybody.
No, it wasn't Jeremy Irons. It was the dude. What's his name? Hades from Hercules.
Oh, James Woods.
James Woods. Yes, he's canceled.
He's canceled. Well, what do they do? I wonder, do they still have his high school on Family Guy?
What?
The high school that they go to is James Woods High School.
Girl, do you think I watch Family Guy?
I mean, I haven't watched it in years. I just remember that's very specific.
How is that the thing you remember from that show?
No, I mean, I remember other things from the show. I'm just saying, I remember that one specifically as a detail of the show. Will you stop looking at me?
So then she goes on to talk about Christmas tree skirts with Bernice.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the scene of her getting drunk and yelling at JD when they're camping, which is not actually with JD, and JD's trying to calm her down.
Yeah.
And then they're at Charlene's bachelorette party.
Won't you marry me, baby?
Not that's a little bit later. That she's singing something else at this point. I don't remember what it is.
Oh, that other song. That's right.
Yes.
There was a lot of songs in that episode.
Yeah, there were. Well, now we're on to Charlene.
Sweet old Poplar Bluff, Charlene.
Sweet old Poplar Bluff, Charlene. And dear listeners, each one of these has been a like black and white picture of them with their name up in the corner. And I believe that this is the intro for the next season. If I remember correctly, it is the black and white pictures going by until it gets to like a group picture again.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember, girl.
Well, we start off with Charlene talking about how she pictures Suzanne, all of her husbands in bed.
It's not that far off, really.
No. Then we cut to the thing with talking about killer bees and how she feels very sorry for our bees.
We all do.
In reading through these, I'm wondering if Maim is more Mary Jo or Charlene. It really does feel like Maim is a combination of Mary Jo and Charlene. And I'm a combination of Julia and Suzanne.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, it's weird that you said that because I was thinking that a few episodes ago. That whole like Charlene being jealous episode.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I do tend to romanticize things to a terrible level.
Yeah. Do you still suffer from jealousy with your husband?
It's not like it was then. But you know what though, I will say, and I didn't think about this till later in life, obviously, right? Introspection.
Your ex had a reason to make you feel jealous?
No, that won't possibly. But because remember, I was feeling that way very early on. But then I realized something. That was technically like, even though I had been in a relationship prior, that was technically like my first actual functioning type of relationship. So I was already in my mid-20s. So I was still like a teenager basically when it came to all of that stuff. So it kind of made sense in hindsight that I was like, oh, that's probably why I had a lot of the emotions and feelings that I did, is because I was basically...
Girl, you say all this, but I've really only ever been in one relationship.
Ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've been in like shorter relationships.
Yeah, but they weren't really relationships. They were never defined as such.
Oh.
I did date one person for a month or two or three, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a little narcoleptic.
Yeah, but you were also more mature than me, so, you know.
Is that true?
I think so.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
I mean, remember us in high school? Like, think about us in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that we had lived very different kind of lives in high school.
True.
Like,
That's
you
true.
were like running around town smoking and, you know, all like you were different. I was still very much like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the church for you. Mama Maim, I'm sorry. I broke your son. What did you say?
I said, yes, indeed. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've got to talk to you again. So that's the
staring off.
So then it's Charlene on the bed, and Mary Jo asks her, "How do you know all the state capitals?" And she's like, "Well, you know, I yearn for knowledge."
Don't we all, girl? Don't we all?
Then it pans to the moment she found out Monette was a hooker. And Charlene's like, and Mary Jo's like, you know, she's a member of the world's oldest profession. Monette's a carpenter?
It's a perfect episode. That was
that is a very, I love the Monette. I like Monette a lot. I think she's very good.
I wish she had become a regular on this show.
Oh,
personally.
yeah. Like every once in a while, oh, hey, Monette. And like, she keeps them afloat. Yeah.
I think that would have been amazing, personally.
So then she's dancing with Anthony, doing the jitterbug with Anthony. Jitterbug.
Boop, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop.
Jitterbug.
Oh.
Boom, boom, in the line.
Oh, George. Yeah, yeah.
What would you have done had you have found him in a bathroom?
The worst things ever.
Yeah, probably. Even
I
with
had
the
such a
blonde
crush.
hair?
I had such a crush on George Michael. I had such a the only time I didn't have a crush on him was that 99 look where he almost looked like the devil. Like when he had that like facial hair that he had cut in that really kind of like
Oh
very
yeah, and
angular way.
like the really tight Caesar cut.
I was like,
Yeah.
why do you literally look like a devil from a movie?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that he wasn't attractive, it was just like he looked almost silly to me. I was just like, it's like you've taken that thing, that sexiness that was so natural to you, and you've kind of like,
Yeah.
that was
But
the only time.
he was kind of 90s hot at the time, though. You have to give him that. Like he
No,
fit
the
that.
90s, that was it, right? George Clooney had that Caesar cut. A lot of people had that Caesar
Well,
cut.
you know,
It just
George
on
Clooney.
him-
There is a thing about George Clooney that's supposedly true. He uses a Flowbee.
I don't know what that is.
The vacuum.
Oh,
razor
wait.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supposedly, it's confirmed that he in fact used a Flowbee to cut his hair.
That's pretty actually kind of funny. Oh, George
So-
Clooney.
So now it's, won't you marry me, Bill? Won't you marry me, Bill? Now she's marrying Bill. Okay. And then we go up to heaven and meet Dolly.
We're not gonna not have that in this episode.
And you know what this reminded me of? That black woman who died in that episode. Whose entire family had to die to get away from her.
You will not leave that alone.
It's the worst episode ever. Well,
Which is really funny because all of our little Facebook communities that we monitor, people love that episode so much.
They're wrong. You heard it here, folks.
I love the Dolly Parton's in it. I love that.
Well,
Right,
she may.
you know?
We can't even be sure she's in the second episode because it's just her back. She didn't even like that woman either.
It's a little mannequin. This little mannequin with a Dolly dress on.
So, and then we end Charlene with Bill creepily staring at her from behind.
I don't know why you always say that is a creepy.
Well, I just in looking at him expect to hear mouth breathing noises.
Baby.
So now, girl, this episode takes a turn. So we do Dash Golf, but it's on a pink background. It looks like, do you remember that paint program we used?
Yes, it was an important part of my life. Yes.
It looks like that, like the very first PowerPoint. Like they had all these great pictures, and then they used what was the name of that program? Oh God,
Paint Shop Pro.
Paint Shop Pro. They had to flip over that floppy disk to get this to print out.
Oh, kids, if you're under the age of 40, floppy disks are a thing that we used to have to use before the internet, and they used to carry our stuff on it.
And if you're under the age of a certain part of 40, floppy disks actually used to be floppy. Like there's a line.
Did you used to do this sometimes? Like when you were trying to get it to work properly, I would just flap mine
of course,
put it back in.
And you know what that did? Broke the damn thing.
I can still remember the clicking sound. It's in my head hearing it tried to initialize.
Yeah, girl, yeah. Well, Dash reads from his book, flirts with Charlene, and has a literature class. I really don't like Dash that much. So
I know. Oh.
So now we're doing another one of these little PowerPoint presentations, and it's the women of Atlanta. And what they do here, Maim, is they take about 15 minutes, okay, not that much, 10 minutes, it was about 10, of the photo episode and just throw it in there. I can't explain it. Can you, Maim?
It was this was their love letter, not only to the women of Atlanta, but to women everywhere, because they are the reason that the show has done so well.
I thought it was gay men.
Oh, that too. But by that point, they weren't a demographic that they were measured in the Nielsen ratings. So
That's very true. And then finally, Maim, it comes up with the Rowdy Girls, where Charlene gets to save that woman from her abusive husband. And we get to see Blackface just one mo again. Do 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 do. Hey, Maim.
oh yes.
Did you find yourself a Miss Georgia World? I did.
I'm going to give it to Suzanne Sugarbaker and Blackface.
So
There you go.
I did. My Miss Georgia World is Dash Goff author the PowerPoint. Because that is a bold pink choice to do. My fucking God. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you like this episode?
I mean, it's fine.
No, it's not.
It's just a clip episode. I do wish.
It is a bad clip episode. Go on.
I just
It's
wish they
bad.
had done it. Well, it's bad. Like, okay, it is bad, but it's like it is what it is. I just wish, really, and I mean this in like the weirdest way, but I just wish they had done it like all the other clip episodes, right? Which is, we have a very, 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 very loose premise, and they're just talking, and we go to clips. That used to be how an actual clip show used to be back then.
Yeah.
That would have been great. Could you imagine if Bernice was sitting there with a photo album and she's like, oh, I remember that.
Well, girl,
right?
in the next episode, so I was very pissed at this episode because I didn't look ahead to see if there was another one, because they left out Suzanne, right?
Yes.
And I was like, okay, Dash got before Suzanne? But Suzanne's the very first one, the next one. Sorry to ruin it for everybody.
I don't think you ruined it for anyone.
But like, what? And I hope Bernice has one. I don't know if she will. Will there actually be a picture of her? Will it be like a little like a pink PowerPoint for her too? Girl, over the very final thing, they even put up that pink background and like put the lettering for the credits over that bright highlighter pink background. This episode's a goddamn mess.
It's just a clip show.
It's a bad clip show, though. Like, you are absolutely right. Like, I don't know. Didn't they already have a clip episode?
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought one of the Christmas episodes something was.
No, I don't think they've done one.
Yeah, like you could have Bernice do that. You could have, I don't know, it's the end of the season, so it's like springtime.
You could have Anthony as his therapist.
That's funny. You could have Julia's son talking to his kid.
Yeah.
Because the wife's pregnant. You could have Payne talking to his kid about his family.
Oh, that would have been nice.
You could have Charlene talking to Olivia, who's now 4, about everybody.
Is she 4? I thought she was 8.
Whatever. She's somewhere between 2 and 35 at this point.
Olivia's buying the firm on the next episode.
No, dear, that's next season. She's actually TJ. Or no, we don't get TJ till the last season. That next season it's Julia Duffy and
BJ, not TJ.
BJ. We get Julia Duffy and
yes.
Oh, what's her name?
The lady.
Yeah, the lady who was on Saturday Night
Jan
Live.
Hooks.
Yeah, who's very funny. I like Jan Hooks a lot.
I love her just in general.
Yeah, did she pass away?
Oh yeah.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago now too.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time. She had breast cancer, I think it was.
Okay. Well, Maim, would you like to end the shit?
Sure. You all right?
This
I mean,
episode.
I know this wasn't like an ideal episode, but
This episode took a lot out of me, dear listeners. And the next one is going to do the same. I hope that Mi Ling or whatever her name is. What's her name?
Lilu?
Li Ling. Li Ling. It feels like a racism that we're getting ready to go over in the next episode.
And we're not. It's just the show.
I know. I wonder if she's going to get a little thing too. I mean, they gave Dash one. Why not?
Oh, I'm sure she's going to get a little shout out in the clip episode.
No, I meant like a full.
No. What are you talking? They would never do that.
Hey, man, why don't you tell our dear listeners where they can find you, or do you want me to do it?
I want to hear you do it.
Okay. Hey. Me. Hey, y'all. I'm your Auntie Maim, your favorite relation. How am I doing so far, Maim? How am I doing so far?
Keep on going. Keep going.
Okay. You can find me doing karaoke at Kill Your Idol, improv at the Villain Theater, and on your TV set as it's happening out. Find more information at I'mYourAuntieMaim.com. Done.
Well, I'm your Auntie Maim. Well, yeah, having an I'mYourAuntieMaim.com makes it a much more convenient thing.
Yeah, girl, you got to fill out your calendar so they know everything you're doing. And I'm the Divine Miss Mims. You can find me at thedivinemissmims.com. Hey, Maim.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that I have a Patreon? That we have a Patreon?
Yes, I did know that you have a Patreon.
If you had a Patreon.com, Mims and Maim, you can throw us some money. Hey, Maim.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that we have another podcasts?
What?
That's right. We've got two. It's You Slay Me, our Murder She Wrote podcast, and We Object, our Ally McBeal podcast. So what I forgot to tell people up front is, if you are a patron, Maim, do you know what you get?
What?
You get us in the lightest of drag.
So light.
Lightest of drag.
So light.
As a pre-show. Like, you get to see us recording it in the lightest of drag. Isn't that a thing?
So light. Like, so light.
Hey, Maim. Maim, did you know that we have merchandise?
What?
That's right, dear listeners. Go to mimsandmaim.com. Yeah, we just got tons of websites out there now. Just websites upon websites.
So many websites.
If you can remember them, that's great.
We're coming for you, Google. We're coming for you.
Mimsandmaim.com and buy some things. It's been renovated. It looks great. Hey, well.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Hey,
like
Maim.
HGTV. Yeah.
Hey, Maim. Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That you're my hero.
That ain't true.
Do you know what I love, man?
You love 5-star reviews, ho.
That's right. I'm trying to find our phone number for the next little bit, and I'm having a moment. So that's what's going on here.
I knew something was happening.
That's right, ma'am. I love 5-star reviews. Dear listeners, if you want to leave us a 5-star review after getting through with this mess, that would really make me happy.
We sound drunk, even though neither one of us has been drinking today.
Hey, ma'am.
Yes.
Did you know? Did you know that our dear listeners can reach out and touch us?
Reach out and touch somebody's hand.
Rain, 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 rain.
If you can.
That's right,
Come on,
dear
Patty Daddies. Come on, Patty Daddies.
Are you gonna pay LaBelle?
What? I'm just.
Oh, Patty Daddies. That's right. I was going Diana Ross. I was going when she was out in the rain singing that.
I was doing Diana Ross too, but I was screaming for the Patty Daddies.
Dear listeners, if you want to send us a message, please send us one at mimsandmaim@gmail.com, or you can send us a text at 704-380-0618. Maim.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you have anything else to add?
Well, you've been adding everything, so I have nothing personal to add to this.
Then why don't you say goodnight, Maim?
Good night, Maim.
Bye, y'all.